Hello, friends. I welcome you all to the second lecture of Sociology Uncomplicated series. We will learn today the scope of the subject, concern of the subject, and the science of sociology. In today's class, we will understand what sociology studies, what are the main concerns of sociology. Then we will also study the comparison of sociology with various subjects, and specifically sociology and common sense is a very, very important topic for your exam. So without any further delay, let's first understand nature and scope of the subject. Now, what is sociology? Let's understand it. We have so many different subjects. What makes sociology very different? In society, we have individuals, we have social institutions like your family, your religion, your education. There are various social institutions. Then we have various social processes like marriage, like divorce. Then we also have so many ideologies, abstract ideologies. One of the ideology is liberalism, another is secularism. So there are many ideologies. Now, any discipline is not studying everything comprehensively. Sociology studies the individual, studies the social institutions. Sociology also studies the social processes and also the ideologies comprehensively as one subject. This is how the scope of the subject is very different from any other subject. And it is ever emerging. When it started, it was more of concerned about how modernity is impacting the society, the different changes, like in the family system, like in terms of the work life. Now, the sociologists are studying the pattern of behavior in social media. Sociologists are studying how artificial intelligence will impact the work life, will impact the family life, will impact the child socialization. This is what sociologists are studying. So the scope of the subject is ever changing. This is the beauty of the subject. Now, if you see the founding fathers of the sociology, in the 18th, 19th century Europe, science was worshipped everywhere. Science was worshipped and seen as something infallible, something which can never be wrong. So when the sociology as a subject started, the founding father, like Auguste Comte, he was so much obsessed with making sociology as a science. The discipline should also look like science. And not only he was saying that it is science, he said that it came last and it is covering all the aspects of all the earlier subjects. So it is the most sophisticated one. It is the most complete one. This was the initial arrogance of the founding fathers. And this project, the scientific project, was brought forward by other sociologists, thinkers as well, like Herbert Spencer, who linked the survival of fittest of Darwin theory and brought it into the sociology. Durkheim, who we will read in great detail in coming units, but let me tell you, he is the founder. He is sort of a founder or a poster boy of a discipline which is called as functionalism. Now, what is functionalism? Just understand it. Your human body, every organ has a specific function, and they are making your body function. Similarly, Durkheim believed that all the social institutions are interconnected and they are making the society function in a positive manner. He was seeing everything as functional. And he was not seeing the dysfunctional aspects of any particular institutions, like religion. Religion, if people are adhering to a same religion, it can unite. But what about two different religions? It can divide. It can lead to communal clashes. This was the inherent issue with the founding fathers' concepts. Now, how sociology differs from other social sciences, we will read in great detail. Just understand it. I am giving you an example. An economist is just interested in studying the budget, how it impacts, how different tax reforms will impact the purse of a common man, how health and education expenditure will impact the general society, how out of pocket expenditure will impact it, fiscal deficit, stock market. So and they are much more interested with the economic data, things related to finances and how it is impacting the society. So it is not studying the society in toto. The sociologist will say that how one society is earning money or will invest money will differ with respect to different culture. Let me give you a very good example. You all know about the Jain religion. Now, Jain philosophy says that we cannot practice agriculture because it can kill even the micro species. This is the philosophy given based on the ideals of Lord Mahavir, who said that in everything there is a soul. Now, because of this philosophy, the Jains did not indulged in works like agriculture. So they had no other alternatives, but they have to do trading, business. They became merchants. And in the 16th, 17th, 18th century, you will see they created vast empire of banks. And now you see one of the wealthiest people in India belong to this religion. So, as important thing economically, like what profession a person will do or how he will save money, how he will invest, is also related to the social values. So, sociologist will say this is not the complete analysis. Same goes with the political science. The political science, if say for example, is trying to study democracy, nation, state, different laws, how gonna people vote, everything. Now, sociologist will say how gonna people vote will depend on what? Will depend on the social culture, the social status. A person who is on the fringes will not be much interested in terms of the higher infrastructure. He will think of something very basic like free food grains, like free bus travel, or the behavior of people politically is much influenced by the caste. There is a famous saying in India: people don't cast their vote; they cast their vote. Means they are giving vote to their caste, and thus even a political behavior or a political organization will depend on the society, on the culture. Thus, a comprehensive analysis will require studying the society. Now, major concerns of sociology. What are the major concerns of the subject? The first is how and why do societies emerge? Before sociology, it was just believed that everything has emerged through some supernatural power, and we had different stories, fairy tales made by different societies. So sociology said that we will study how it emerged in a rational way. Second was how and why do societies persist? Why societies are persisting? Why religion is persisting? Why social institutions are persisting? Why culture is persisting? Why language is persisting? And the third is how and why do societies change? Third thing is why societies are changing from like the 16th century, 17th century India, and you compare it with the 20th century India. Why it changed? What were the factors? So these are the three major concerns of the sociology. So the concern one is evolution of society. Now, sociologists, whether it was Karl Marx or Auguste Comte, everybody was very much interested into studying the evolution of society. Karl Marx related the change in the or the evolution in the society with only economic factors. He was very much interested in the economic analysis of the society and how people who have money, people who own the factors of production, people who own who are on the supreme hierarchy in terms of relations of production, they are the ones who are changing the rules of the society. So he analyzed everything with respect to the economy. So how Karl Marx analyzed previously, when the human society emerged, everything was based on egalitarianism. There was no difference. But then what happened? Tools were discovered. So people who owned that tool became the masters and others became the slave. So the inequality emerged. Then slowly from the pastoral activity, agriculture emerged. So now the people who owned the land, they became the feudal lord and others became the peasants or the laborers. Then with the coming of the science, there were emergence of technology. Now people who owned these technology, people who owned this capital, they became the owners of factories, they became the bourgeois class, they became the capitalist and other became the workers. And he was believing that a time will come where a revolution will happen from the people who do not possess the capital, have nots. He used to call them proletariat. Now these people will revolt one day and they will dismantle this capitalist structure. Then there will be a time where these workers will have sort of dictatorship. And then there will be a communist utopia, a society where everyone will be equal. People will work because they are objectifying their imagination, not for some other means, not for earning money. The society will be egalitarian, equal, and it will not have any degrading things which will reduce the dignity of human being. This is how Karl Marx understood the evolution of society. I just give you an example. The concern too is units of social life. So the sociologists are very much concerned about the various types of groups that exist, communities, associations, and society, and how people are behaving in these the social groups. Like when you are in the school, will you behave in same manner how you behave at home? Will you behave in same manner when you are going for a religious function? You will behave in a different manner. And it will be dictated based on the socialization that you have gone through. If a teacher will come in the school, you have to stand up. This is a socialization. If you will see a temple, you will bow down. This is a socialization. This is not natural. This has been taught to you. When you are in an informal group of friends, you will behave more in a friendly manner. You will say things in an unfiltered manner. Then they are very much concerned about studying the social institutions. These social institutions socialize people. Your families, it is said that mother is the first school. Why so? Because she will socialize you. She will tell you this is good, this is bad, this is how you should eat, this is how you should walk, this is how you should behave, this is how you should revere the religion, the scriptures. Then the political institutions, they spread the ideology, the right, left, liberal. Economic institutions, there are different institutions. Like if you are working multinational company, the value that you will possess will be very different. You will say that your CEO, your manager, your boss with the name. You are working in a government organization, highly hierarchical organization. You will have to respect the hierarchy. You have to say, sir. You can't take the name. Religious institutions, different religion has different values. Some stress extremely on the ahimsa, some on vegetarianism, some on fraternity. So there are different values. Educational institutions, education give you so many values. Now the type of educational institutions will give different types of value. If it is educational institution which is governed by religion, you will get the religious way of education. If it is governed by a government, you will get formal sort of education, but something which is not disrupting. If you are getting education from any disrupting organization, like there is an organization which was started by Sonam Wangchuk, so it will give you something very different, something very practical, not something which will help you to fall in the line. Like in your mainstream government school curriculum, you will not read anything which is radical. They will teach you things which will make you obedient. So different kinds of educational institutions will give you different types of socialization. Then we have social processes. As I told you, there are different processes. Socialization is one process through which you understand the do's and the don'ts. That makes you adjustable in the society. Social control. If someone is not respecting the religion, if someone is not respecting the elders, what will happen? There will be some consequences. First, they will be made to understand that you need not behave in this manner. Then there can be social sanctions. People are outcasted, typecasted in the society, in the village, and sometimes they resort to even more brutal social control. We have different mechanism. One is the social control mechanism, which is informal, by the caste, by your village, by your religion. But there is a formal way of social control as well. This is your police. This is your judiciary. It is based on the code of conduct, the rules. It is based on the BNS in India or the Constitution of India. Then cooperation between different individuals. It is very, very important. Without cooperation, no nation state can persist. Conflict between different castes, between different religion, like the conflict in the different castes. Sociology study deeply about the caste conflict in Bihar, the caste conflict which happened in the state of Tamil Nadu. All of this was studied very deeply. Social deviation. Now, people who deviate from what is being taught, like sati was a normal process. But there were people like Raja Rammohn Rai who saw it with skepticism that it is not right, it is inhuman, and it is not even given in any religion. It is not even given in any scripture. Now, this deviation happens when you are rejecting what is given in the socialization, the values. These people changed the world. These became scientists, these become social reformers. These give you different ideas and they make the social change possible. So social deviation is necessary for the social change. Now, one thing which you must be reading every day, that is concept of culture. Culture is very important. Culture is the shared and learned behavior among members of the group. They will share same language, they will share same kind of attire, same kind of mode of worship, okay, same kind of social behavior, same kind of rules of marriage. So your culture is the main source of socialization, civilization in the society. Society is dynamic, it is changing. What the culture was of a primitive human being is not the same in the 21st century. It changes. So the area of interest of sociologists is how it is changing, why it is changing, how the science is impacting the culture, how the art and culture is taking inspiration from the daily life. Now, there are three dimensions of culture. One is your cognitive part. Now, if you see a snake and you are worshipping it, and another human being is seeing the snake and is running, what differentiates it? The behavior of two human beings. It is differentiated by the culture. In one society, snake can be worshipped, can be revered. In another society, it is not revered. A simple venomous snake can hurt an individual, so the individual will run. So how you see different things and how you behave is decided by the cognitive part. Second is the normative part. What is considered as good or bad? What kind of cloth one should wear? You must have seen people ridiculing certain kinds of clothes. Specifically, it is much related to the gender dimension. Then how you need to behave in a temple, the different kinds of worship methods, it differs. How elderly people will be respected or ridiculed, it also depends on different culture. If you go to Japan, elderly people are seen as repository of knowledge. In many societies, they are seen as outdated. So it is part of the normative aspect of culture, or rituals at the death. Some are burned or some are buried. So it depends. There are silent hours as well. Material. Now, material aspect of culture is what? As I told you the example of Jainism, I will give you more examples, like the Banya community. Now, they are the ones who believe in reinvesting things rather than leading a lavishing lifestyles. So they will reinvest things again and again, and that builds the capital, that builds more wealth in their community. So it is dependent on the material aspect of culture. Now let's understand about the founding fathers of sociology, what they were believing. Auguste Comte, as I told you, was very much interested in science. He wanted to create sociology like a science. Now he saw the evolution of society through three processes. First he called as theological. What is theological? The society is governed by supernatural forces. Rain will happen when the rain god will be happy. Now people used to worship Indra for good amount of rain. Thunderstorms are coming because of supernatural reasons. This was the reality of the ancient society. Then comes metaphysical, specifically from the 13th to 18th century. Different philosophers came. Ideas emerged. So abstract ideas were governing the society. And then the last stage is the positive or scientific, where the society will be governed by the reason, by the science, rather than any abstract theory or the supernatural forces. He introduced the scientific methods like social statistics to analyze the social institutions. Okay. So social statistics will be stable aspects. Family, polity are a stable aspect. They are running since thousands of years. And social dynamics, that is how the society is changing. So he was interested in both the continuity and the change. Like UPSC asks you question in GS1, the caste is fluid or static. So there are certain aspects which are socially stable in caste system, and certain aspects which are changing. Like endogamous marriage is still 95% of the total marriages in India. So it is part of the stable aspects. Okay. And he called the sociology as queen of all social sciences. Emile Durkheim, as I discussed, he is the poster boy of functionalism. He gave huge importance to the social values, culture, religion, and he believed that if you want to be free, if an individual want to be free, they can be free from outside. They can be free through the social control, the normative order. That's very different from our understanding of the individualism. We believe that if individual wants to do a particular thing and they are allowed, they would be called as free. Then he gave different evolutionary stages of society. He said that in the past, people were practicing similar kinds of things. There was not much differentiation. People were doing pastoral activity or agriculture activity, so very similar kinds of activities. They were united because of common value. Something is good or bad was adhered strongly by everyone. There was not much differentiation. But in the modern societies, the values differ. However, people are interdependent. You are living in a home, you need electrician, you need plumber, you need house help for various kinds of work. So there is differentiation of work. That is leading to organic solidarity. Previously, it was mechanical solidarity. However, the values are very, very different. On the other hand, Max Weber, we will study all of these in the Unit 4 lectures, but let's understand the basics. Max Weber. So he used the concept of social action. What is social action? Now, if I am seeing a cow and I am feeling very happy by seeing a cow or giving a pat or giving some food, it is social action. But this social action is because of the meaning that is being built inside my mind. I saw a cow. I believe they are very noble kind of animal. They give us so many things. In religion also they are revered. So there is a meaning that is making us to do a particular action. So he was very much interested in analyzing the social actions of different individuals rather than studying society from above, like Durkheim. Durkheim was very much interested in studying the social order, social consciousness, and how bigger institutions are ensuring the normative order. Normative order means norms, rules, values. Thus, he gave the concept of social facts. Now, your religion, your law, legal institutions, everything outlives any individual's life. Any individual may live 70 years, 80 years, but religion is going on since 2000, 3000 years. So they outlive any individual and they over and above act on any individual. They decide what an individual will do. These Durkheim called as social facts. This is the basic understanding. I will go very deep into the other aspects when we will study Emile Durkheim in detail. Karl Marx, as I told you, the theory, he was very much interested into the economic aspect. Herbert Spencer, as we discussed in the previous class, he took the Darwinism, the Darwin's theory, and tried to fit in the sociology. He was very much interested in studying the society in a comprehensive manner. All the different institutions, how they are interplaying, how an individual is acting in different social institutions, rather than in parts. Now let's understand social groups. We all live in group. Family is also a group. Your acquaintances, your peer group, your groups made in educational institutions, in work life, these are all social groups. And human beings are social animals. Human being is born in a society. Everywhere social life is lived in groups, whether large or small. Okay. And in every group, you have a patterned interaction. As I told you, in different kinds of social groups, you behave differently. If you go to temple, you behave differently. If you are with friends, you behave differently. If you are in school, you behave differently. If you are in job, you behave differently. So there are patterned interaction. The interaction which are sustained over time only can be classified as social group. Not like you are going to school and you met a stranger, you had an interaction. That will not consist of a social group. Sustained interaction. With your friend, you interact every day or every week or every 15 day or every 20 day or every 30 day. It is a sustained interaction. That can be only called as social group. And these are important to satisfy human needs, a basic mechanism to survive. Say, for example, family. So it regulates procreation, it regulates child socialization, it sustains a group of individuals. So it enables us to meet the need. And the solidarity of a group is dependent upon the how frequently we are interacting and the emotional attachment. Like religion has huge emotional attachment. So the social solidarity is a very, very strong. Now the social groups are further divided into two groups. One is primary group. Primary groups are those where emotionally you are much strongly attached. Your interaction is too much frequent, like family, like your play groups where you go and play cricket together or any sports together. No, these are much closer groups. These are called as primary groups. Secondary groups are where the interactions are not that frequent. Emotionally, you are not attached that much. Some kind of a formal group or a student body of large colleges. So they are not interacting every day. There is another concept, Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft, which was given by Ferdinand Tonnies. So let's understand it in a very basic manner. Gemeinschaft, if you go to a village, all the interactions are face to face. It is not formal, it is informal. You behave not in a formal mechanism. You do not say people respected sir or madam. You are behaving in an absolutely informal manner. Traditions dictate the village, how you will eat, how you will behave. A particular village will have a particular kinds of characteristics. You will see that a village having more population of upper caste will have more proportion of, say, for example, vegetarians. Okay. So in a village, you are more and more behaving like a community or like a traditional, in a traditional manner. This Ferdinand Tonnies called as Gemeinschaft. The second thing he called was Gesellschaft. So if you are living in a mega cities, in a large heterogeneous modern societies, there are impersonal behavior. In gated communities, in societies and urban centers, people do not behave intimately. They do not have any kind of an emotional connection. The relationship is more and more impersonal. Many times you don't know who is residing in the next door. It is very formal. It is very functional. And the relationship are specialized, like how you behave with a plumber, how you behave with a particular individual. So it is just based on the specialized relationship. And it is often contractual rather than emotional. Term is called this Gesellschaft or associational societies. So you can, if you go to village, you will see Gemeinschaft. If you go to urban center, mega cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, so you will see Gesellschaft. Now let's move to the next topic, that is sociology and other social sciences. We had discussed a bit of it earlier as well. Let's understand it more comprehensively. As I told you, since the emancipation or the start of sociology, sociology was studying society comprehensively. So naturally, there will be interrelationship with various disciplines as well. However, the founding father wanted it to make it the most sophisticated one, very different queen of all social sciences, but there were interrelationship naturally. The first was with psychology. Now, psychology studies what is going on inside a human mind. It is trying to go inside the mind, how your emotions are leading to your social actions, how your socializations leads to your actions on an individual basis. More what is going on inside the mind of an individual. However, sociologists are not concerned about just what is going inside the mind of an individual. They are much more concerned about norms, values, different institutions, and how they socialize people. So they are more and more interested on collective things. Let me give you an example. If a suicide is committed by an individual, psychologists will study their traits of a specific individual, what they were going through, what was their mental condition. But a sociologist will not study just mental condition. They will study how society led to suicide. Like if farmers are committing suicide in Vidarbha, how society, how the government failure has led to these suicides. So they will study the collective reasons, the reasons which are due to the deficiencies of social institutions. Like farmers were not provided benefits, the irrigation system is not nuanced, the water is being diverted for some other kinds of industries. So all of this will be studied by a sociologist. So they differ. They are studying same phenomena, but they are differing in their approach. In terms of sociology and anthropology, so sociology emerged because of all these events which we studied in the previous class, but anthropology emerged because of curiosity of thinkers. They ventured into some of the aboriginal communities, tribal communities. They went there and they studied. And they studied things not just in a social manner, but also the biological aspects, the archaeological aspects. In more, utilizing more the participation in the society, then only they can understand a tribal society, because it is very different. So they used to go there, they used to reside there, they used to understand their culture, emotion, way of life. Sociology, on the other hand, was not necessarily just the study of the primitive society, but different kinds of society, even the social changes which are taking places. So initially, anthropology and sociology, there was a stress by the initial founding father of sociologists to differentiate both. But they both are studying the people, institutions. And the difference between primitive and the modern society also blurs a lot in India. Every next door you will see a village and some town, and even in the villages you will see impact of the modernity. So slowly the line between sociology and anthropology became blurred. Sociology is also interested in studying the tribal society and all. So we have shared thinkers, common thinkers in both the subjects, but the difference remains, because in sociology we are not bothered about the genetic and biological aspects and archaeological aspects, and we are not just concentrated in terms of the primitive society or the tribal societies, aboriginal communities. Sociologists are studying things more comprehensively in terms of different social institutions. Yes, anthropology also studies biological characteristics which sociologists are not studying. Then comes the sociology and economics. As I told you, economists are more concerned on factors like studying industry, productivity, labor force participation, industrial policies framed by the government and its effect, marketing. But sociologists study the impact of industrialization on society. Sociologists are interested in the interaction between economic institutions and other institutions in society. How religion will dictate how a person will choose a job. In many communities, doing business is a sign of greed. Accumulating wealth is a sign of greed. In some other communities, the more you accumulate wealth and reinvest, the more you are nearer to God. Okay. So even your economic decisions are governed by the social institutions and socialization. However, the line got blurred. You see Karl Marx. So Karl Marx utilized heavily the economic factors to study the society. Now the concepts developed by people like Amartya Sen, he gave the human development indicator in economics. Now human development indicator specifically is concerned about the status like educational attainment, health. All these are heavily dependent on the social parameters or the social institutions. So the line between the economics and the sociology is also getting blurred. They are converging more and more. Gender budgeting, say, for example, is a totally sociological concept. It is kind of a sociology and economics come together. We are studying about the impact of, say, for example, finances or budgetary allocations on women. So the line is getting blurred. And sociology and science, as I told you, the founding fathers of the sociology were too much obsessed with science. So they wanted sociology to look like a science. They were very much interested about it. And we had some characteristic in sociology that was also making it closer to science. What? So take an example. AI is coming. Now, how people will behave after coming of AI, how educational institutions will behave, how family will behave, how different institutions will behave. Now, this will be dictated by whom? Now, how we will analyze it? Sociologists will study it. When AI will come, what changes in behavior will happen? Predicting the social behavior. Now, this cause and effect analysis is done in science. If you are putting a chemical in anything, how the change of particular element in color, in terms of size, in shape, how they will behave. So, science is very much related to cause and effect. In sociology, also, we are doing this cause and effect analysis. Next, we are also trying to analyze the behavior by collecting data. We are collecting data like if someone says that women and men are not equal. So sociologists will go and collect the data of men and women, their capabilities, their learning aptitude, everything. Then they will analyze it. They will use scientific models, and then they will come to a conclusion that they are equal. Rather, they are behaving differently because of different kinds of socialization. So again, we are utilizing scientific methods. We are collecting data. We are defining a problem. See, there will be some commonsensical understanding. Like married people are happier than people who are not married. Now, this is a general bias or common sense. Now, sociologists will make it a statement, hypothesis, which will be tested through process. They will collect data, they will analyze and organize data, and then they will see if the organized data is satisfying the hypothesis or negating the hypothesis. So a complete scientific method and process is used by sociologists as well. That is the convergence between the sociology and science. However, human beings are not chemicals. Human beings are not matter. They have consciousness. They have emotions. So they will behave according to their own socialization. Like not everybody is religious. Some are atheist. Now it will depend on individual as well. You can't have controlled environment like you are testing chemicals. So you are testing chemicals. Now you can have controlled environment. Can you produce this for human beings? No. Secondly, all these institutions, they did not fall from the sky. These were made by the people, the religion, the political institutions, educational institutions. So they also flowed from a mind of an individual, how they can be very different. So these notions were challenged later on by the non-positivist scholars, which we will read in great detail in the coming chapter. You just understand it that a matter and an actor are different. You all have emotions. You all have basic now socializations. So you are also changing the social institutions. You are not just dictated by an educational institutions. You also contribute in institutions. People also change the educational institutions. Okay. And we have basic and applied sociology. Basic sociology, you are just trying to study family, religion, education. Applied is you are predicting behavior. Like, as I told you, AI and how it will impact several other things. Modernity and how it is impacting family, how it is impacting religion. Predicting things. This is part of the applied sociology. Now we need to understand sociology and common sense. It is a very important thing. Now, what is common sense? We all live in a society. We have experiences, accumulated experiences. When we are a small child, we go through several experiences. Like if we behave in a particular manner, our parents will give us chocolate. If we are behaving in another manner, they will punish us. So we will develop a kind of understanding. Okay, if I am behaving in this particular manner, I am getting rewarded. So you will also now try to behave in that manner to get reward. Now it will become something desirable for you, a good thing, so called. And other things which you are doing and you are getting punished will become a bad thing. This is accumulated experiences, prejudices, your racial differences. Like if a white person thinks that colored persons are inferior, that is prejudices. If you think that all people living in any particular country are arrogant or are terrorists, now these are your prejudices, your beliefs. You believe in a God. It is your belief. You believe in the supernatural ability of any god or man. This is your belief. There is no rationality behind it. And it is often contradictory. If a person is living in a state of Kerala and if a person is living in the state of Bihar, their commonsensical understanding will be entirely different. How they see a particular food will be entirely different. How they think about the different race people, different caste people will be purely based on common sense. How they are behaving with different gender. again it will be very different. So it is often contradictory and inconsistent. Now, if you see sociology, they are not inconsistent. They are, sociological understandings are developed through a process. It is not per se common sense. It can start from a common sense, but then it will study, it will analyze. Either the commonsensical understanding will be found true or false. So it is not just based on biases or shared experience. It will go beneath the surface. If someone is saying marriage is a risky proportion, that is, if you marry, there is high chances of divorce in the modern times. Now, sociologists will say, okay, this is your commonsensical belief. Let me analyze the data of last 10 years. How many marriages ended in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? What were the reasons? And then they will come to a conclusion. So they go beneath the surface. Now you see, in some societies, cats are considered as inauspicious. In some societies, cats are considered auspicious. This is just your belief, your prejudices. Cats are like any other animals. How they can enhance or decrease your fate, your luck. It is purely based on your biases. Sociologists will not take this observation on face value. They will analyze it. They will study it. They will go deep into it. Okay. Let me give you more example. Man is more intelligent than women. It can be your prejudices, can be your commonsensical understanding. A sociologist will analyze it through various kinds of data. Then married people remain happier than single people. Sociologists will not take it in this manner. They will analyze it. High caste people are more talented than low caste people. Again, your own biases and beliefs, your common sense. Sociologists will research and they will find women is as intelligent as men. It's just socialization differences. Then there is no association between happiness and remaining married or unmarried. And third, caste does not determine individual efficiency, their talent, their skill, their opportunities. They were given opportunities or not. That will decide. So common sense observation results in widespread ignorance and rejection of sociological perspective. Like if people will say women should be also allowed equal freedom, they should be also allowed to do jobs in army. Now, the inherent common sense is, okay, women are not as brave, as courageous as men. Sociologists will analyze it, the entire history, and then they will come up with the data like Rani Lakshmi Bai, Rani Chennamma. Okay, were they men or they were women? They will give you examples. They will give you data. Also, like women rear children, so they are supposed to do household work. So they will say it is biological, not sociological. Now they will do the household work or not is something which is not decided by the sex. It is decided by the society. Okay. Also, the common sense is not universal. As I told you, sociology can be applied in general. Peter Berger, a sociologist thinker, said that so the fascination of sociology lies in the fact that you already live in this society. Now you are seeing the very society from the different lens. So things you are not taking up as it seems. You are not judging the book with its cover. You are going deep into the book. You are analyzing the book. Common sense tend to assume. Sociologists don't assume. Sociology doesn't work on assumptions. They will go deep. They will do research. It is rather rational. Like a research done by Margaret Mead on 3 societies in New Guinea to analyze the difference in terms of the gender. So when Margaret Mead went to the Apache society, very few natural differences were found between men and women. And neither sex were exhibiting aggressive behavior. Women did the heavy carrying. Men stayed at home with their wives during and after childbirth, sharing the pain and strain. During the study of Munduracco, both sexes were aggressive. Children were treated brutally by the parents. Love making was rather like a pitched battle. Then among the Tchambuli community, men adorned themselves, did gossips, made things for trade. Women selected their partners, made their sexual advances, did all the trade, and were the more aggressive sex. So obviously, it is rather taught by the society. If in all the 3 societies, the things were the same, then it can be said that it is natural. If in all the 3 societies, things are very different, how the both gender is behaving, then it is taught by the society rather than it's natural. Okay, like in the Hopi Indians of North America, it is a common sense that rain clouds are gods and must therefore be made happy. Like in India also, previously, the rain god Indra. Now, if rainfall used to not happen, people used to do yajns and whatnot. But in meteorology, Sociologists will say there is a methodology. Okay, there is a scientific way to analyze it. Now, one person's common sense can be another person's nonsense. Okay, what common sensical belief you have, you go to another country like Britain, they will believe it as a nonsense. So it is highly, highly personal. Okay. Now, in sociology, what is seemingly naturalistic explanation will be explained in detail. They will study the patterns, they will study the behavior, and then they will come to a conclusion. Individualistic explanations have much more importance in commonsensical understanding. A very good theory given by a famous sociologist, Howard Becker. He called it as labeling theory. If you call a particular community that they are criminal or deviant, like the Britishers had certified some community as criminal. Now, slowly they will start behaving like this as well. If you label them, they will show that behavior. Like there is a folk wisdom. Give the dog a bad name and it will get blamed for a lot many things. Because of like cat crossed your road. That's why you suffered some inauspicious things. Some bad events happened in your life. You are labeling it. There is no rationality behind it. Now, sociology doesn't function in this manner. Labeling theory doesn't have any place in sociology. Sociology will go and deeply understand it. And then it will come with a conclusion. So sociology will start from common sense, but it is not accepting common sense. It is debunking common sense. It will see the commonsensical understanding with skepticism. Then they will do a research and then they will come to a conclusion. That is why it is called as the debunking attitude of the sociology. Like Durkheim on religion. Durkheim believed that society created God in its own image. However, if you see different religion, they believe that God created man in his own image. But Durkheim believes that it is created by society. Marx believes that the religion is creation of human being, created by people who possess the economic materials. They were owning that. They made the religion. And as they made it to subdue the people, subdue the people who did not possess the wealth. Thus, it is inherently something which is leading to inequality, harassment of people who are have-nots, who are poor. He called it as opium of masses. So if I tell you to not eat food for 10 days and it will lead to nation's progress, you will not do it. But if I tell you, if you do this, the God will become happy. You may do it for 15 days, 20 days. Okay. So it gives you unexpected capabilities. That is why he called it as opium of masses. So the birth of sociology was from the skepticism. All the commonsensical understanding that was given, it did not take it on the face value. It analyzed it. So many data were collected. And then they came to any conclusion. Sociology was born in turmoil when Europe was in the chaos, was in transition. Emile Durkheim totally discards commonsensical understanding. He says that if you use common sense, the scientific discipline of sociology will get disturbed, will get destroyed. It will mar it. Whereas Harold Garfinkel, he says that common sense produces a sense of organization. The society is basically organized on the commonsensical lines and coherence. The rules that you follow every day, how you eat, how you behave, the table manners. Say, for example, in Britain or in Bihar will be very different. It will be inspired from the common sense. Okay. So these non-positivists like Peter Berger, he says that fact never falls from sky. Any fact, any social institution, they have not come from the sky. They have been developed in particular context. Thus, the common sense is involved even in social institution creation. So you cannot totally discard it. If you want to do a social research as well, you have to start from a hypothesis, untested statement, like marriage is a risky proportion, and it will come from common sense. These non-positivists believe more on understanding the microcosmos, that is, a small village, a small society, understanding how people behave, rather than making big theories. That's how sociology changed. Initially, it was more about making it like a science, making big theories. But slowly, it will move towards understanding individuals, understanding microcosmos, individual society, small societies. If you see poverty, commonsensical explanation will be rather individual. People are poor because they do less work, they're afraid of work. Problem in families, they do not have budget at individual level. They are lazy people, they lack intelligence, etc., etc. They are risk aversive. Sociology will connect it with the institutions, the society. A person belonging to a depressed caste would not get same kind of health and education, same kind of opportunity. Thus, they are remaining poor. It is not because of individual behavior, but rather because of society and institutions. So common sense will blame the individual, sociology will examine the structure of society. So a statement made on common sense basis may be just a guess, a hunch, or a haphazard way of saying something. Generally, they are based on ignorance, bias, prejudice, mistaken interpretation. Our sociology is a body of concepts, methods, and data. No matter how loosely coordinated, this cannot be substituted by common sense. I hope you were able to understand it. I will appreciate if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, share these videos to people who come from humble background, who cannot afford 60,000, 70,000 money. Education should reach to everyone. And thus, if you share to even 1% or 2%, 3%, it can change their lives. It can change and it can give them knowledge. Many can become a future civil servant. Optionals are very crucial. Like to these videos, comment on these videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share these videos. Thank you very much. Take care. God bless you all.